Hello, hi. My name is Margareta Hedin, and I'm the organizer of the Stockholm's International Astrological Conference. And we have had a little competition to see who is the most interesting new person in astrology. And the winner of the contest is Joanna. And
Hi.
you introduce yourself, please?
Hello, my name is Ioana Voica. I'm a practicing astrologer based in Copenhagen.
Yeah. And how did your journey with astrology begin? Can you tell us something about that?
Yeah, so actually my journey began quite late because I was born in Romania, where astrology is actually extremely widespread, but so is superstition.
Mhm.
So I kind of categorized them both as superstition and really wasn't a huge fan of it. Astrology is so popular in Romania that we even have an astrologer on TV after the morning news. Everyone knows her. But it's the kind of newspaper astrology, she will tell you that you'll go to the spa tomorrow and this kind of stuff. So that really helped with me disregarding astrology until my early 20s when I was studying different spiritual traditions and I kept bumping into astrology. So I thought I would give it a chance, and I did some online report from AstroSeek or something like that, and it really hit some chords. And I was really fascinated, also because I had tried before in high school. I found some old notes where I had written something about my ascendant and my Venus placement and my Saturn placement. And when I did my chart in my early 20s, I realized that those were some very important planets, the ones that I had taken notes about and
So you
during
have the astrology inside you all the time, maybe.
yeah, so they were calling.
Ah.
But after this, I realized astrology was kind of the meeting point of all my interests because I have always really loved mythology, especially Greek mythology. I grew up with the stories. I read a lot about the gods and goddesses, and I was really into psychology, and I was really into Carl Jung, and I was really into all of this, right? So.
But you told
um,
me when we spoke previously that you were also interested in magic and rituals, aren't you?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I always was interested theoretically in magic, but the more I studied astrology and the more I studied the traditional part of astrology, the more I actually got into magic and planetary magic.
Yes, so I'm thinking, was it the mythology that connected you with the traditional astrology? Because this is one thing that a theme that I would like to show with the conference, that we can see a new trend, that the younger people are attracted to the Hellenistic part, and we oldies, we are thinking, why? Why do they want that?
Um, So I think a big part of that was actually Neptune in Pisces and Saturn in Pisces, and the coming together of that. And also when I started, Saturn was in Capricorn actually, but it just so happens that I have my lot of spirit in Capricorn, so Saturn rules that. So
Yeah.
it kind of woke up this part in me. But I think when it comes to the population at large, a big part of it is actually Chris Brennan and how popular his podcast is.
So you started with Chris Brennan because that was one of my questions to you.
I
What?
I studied with him, but I didn't start with him.
No?
I so I when I started, I did self-study for the first year, and I just looked up some astrology books, but the first few books that I bought were actually, um, I still have them. There were Stephen Arroyo and Howard Sasportas and Dane Rudy
That,
are,
that's the path I was walking too.
yeah. So I really like these guys. But I stumbled upon Chris Brennan's podcast eventually when I was actually studying the tarot. And I was trying to get as many things in as possible. But it was through studying tarot and Chris Brennan's podcast being referenced in another podcast called Fortune's Wheelhouse.
Okay.
And then I started applying some of the techniques Chris was mentioning, and they really worked. And that's what really blew my mind, actually. It was how well the techniques worked.
Yeah, I love it. I love it too. I'm thinking, what can we tell our listeners? Because we want everybody to come to the conference, and we still have seats so people can join. But
Mhm.
what your subject? It was the shadow grabber. We are really curious. What will the people learn? Can you give us something, a little clue?
Yeah, so my talk will be about the nodes, the lunar nodes, and briefly about the eclipses, which are caused by the nodes.
That's
And
great since we are in the clip seasons. Thank you.
yeah, exactly. And I have the nodes quite prominent in my chart, so that's part of why I chose to talk about them. But also because when I got into the traditional methods, one of the most important things I have learned is that the nodes are not represented properly in modern astrology and in psychological astrology, and the whole idea of the North Node representing the life path is something that was misrepresented in the last century. And
Yes,
I,
due to the church, actually.
yeah,
Mm.
so I want to present people the other side of things because I have studied formerly also with Austin Coppock, who combines also medieval astrology and also some Vedic stuff. And I'm also taking some courses with Dr. Robert Svoboda, who is not only an astrologer, he's actually an Ayurvedic physician who is also trained in astrology.
Hmm. From India.
And so I want to present this Indian version of what the nodes really mean.
That I think people would love to listen to.
Yeah,
Okay. So what shall we say, Joanna? Shall we s- say to our listeners that everybody is welcome to Stockholms Astrologiska Konferens. It will be in Bacchi Syre, Järntorgsgatan 5 i Gamla stan i Stockholm. Yeah, that's the direction. So see
yeah,
you there in the 28th of February and the 1st of March. You will actually be in the morning of the Sunday in the 1st of March. Yeah.
yes. I'm
Okay.
presenting after
You
Mallory.
are very welcome to Stockholm, and we are looking forward to see you, Joanna. Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Bye.